Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about I was critical, negative, and avoidant.
Man, a triple threat.
You know, one of the things that we have to learn about relationships is negativity really hurts a connection.
Mm-hmm.
And Harville Hendricks, who's a brilliant therapist, talks a lot about having no negativity in a relationship, because it really impacts our connection and our feelings of safety and closeness with that other person.
Mm-hmm. And what we tend to focus on tends to magnify. So if we are very critical of our partner, a lot of times they take those words to heart. It's what we focus on. It could just lead to an overall negative feeling.
So we've got a good email coaching today that will hopefully help you guys. And let's just go ahead and get into this one. They said, "Hi, Coach Craig and Victoria. Your name is in it this time. You're not team again. You're moving up."
Moving up in the world.
"Before sharing the details of my situation, I want to sincerely thank you for the positive impact you've had on my life. I have followed your work since 2019. During my first breakup with this partner, and your guidance helped me regain the relationship while also becoming a more secure and confident man. The Creative Healing course and accompanying workbooks have been essentially meaningful and influential, and I genuinely recommend them to others. Your work has had a profound effect on me, and I am deeply grateful for what you do. Please feel free to use my situation as a topic for a video, as it differs in several ways from a typical breakup scenario and could help other avoidants gain insight on their situation.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you again for all that you provide." We're going to call this guy Bill.
Okay.
And Bill is in his mid-20s, and his wife is the same age. Now, they've been together since they were teenagers, okay? And around 2018 is when they started dating. I secured my dream position, and she also works as a professional, and we'll leave that vague. We were together for 7 years and married for 4 months at the time of the breakup. This is our second breakup. The first occurred approximately a year into the relationship and lasted about 6 weeks before she requested reconciliation. She was my first serious relationship and my only partner. We built a beautiful life together: marriage, dogs, shared routines, and a home that I renovated and maintained. Emotionally, though, especially in the final year, I started to struggle. I became increasingly avoidant, critical, and neglectful. I resorted to logic over empathy, dismissed her feelings, and had poor emotional regulation.
It's hard. It sounded like they kind of grew up with each other from teenagehood into mid-20s. That's a big section of life, and a lot of really important things happened developmentally during that period. So, I could see how as time changes, as things change, sure, you might grow and become more mature, but there's certain patterns and habits, especially relationally, that you can kind of get used to or stuck in sometimes.
Absolutely. And when you start dating that young and you think you're going to have this great life together, and all of a sudden, you're in your mid-20s and things aren't going so good, you're like, maybe I should see what else is out there. Mm-hmm. This isn't going well. He's negative, he's controlling, he's anxious, whatever it may be. And you just start to wonder, well, maybe I should see what else is out there before I have kids with this person. Mm-hmm. He says, "I now believe I was dealing with depression and irritability, which showed up as emotional neglect. She has a history of OCD, anxiety, anxious attachment, and childhood trauma. In the last month or so leading up to the breakup, she grew distant, while I became more frustrated and resentful. When she left, she stated she needed space and wanted to live independently."
I think that's another big part of it that we see often with people who get together quite young is they get that sense that they've never really got to experience the world on their own. And so especially her with a background of OCD and anxiety, there can be this undertone of, I don't fully trust myself. That's pretty quintessential with OCD. You know, I don't trust myself enough. I don't really think I have a handle on things. I don't know if I'm responsible enough. So it seemed like there's probably a deeper urge in her to really test those things. And his negativity, she probably thought, is this partner going to be supportive of that for me, or is this going to be a person that, you know, brings me down?
Yeah, I think as it was going on, it was just like, why am I doing this? Like, you know, especially, you know, she maybe thought, okay, once we get married, it'll get better. Because remember, they were only married 4 months of these 7 years. And so probably after they got married, she's like, what am I doing? Like, this isn't going well. It hasn't been going well. I thought it would get better, but it's not.
Yeah. And there's probably a bit more pressure after the marriage too, if now you've made this big commitment, this idea of it's supposed to go this certain way and then it not. So we do see a lot of breakups happen after big commitment steps. And I know that they had been together for a long time, but those steps can still be scary even if you know the person very well.
She could have been thinking, maybe I shouldn't go through with this wedding too for a while, and just didn't say anything and felt like, oh, I should go through with it. And then afterwards, she's just like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I moved in with my parents to respect her request, as the home belongs to her grandparents. After the breakup, I initiated no contact, responding only briefly and respectfully. In the first week of the breakup, she contacted me often with emotionally driven messages. One notable reach out is when she told me she had accidentally rented a movie with my card and didn't want me to be upset about it. She then told me that the movie was The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is centered on trauma, neglect, and emotional harm.
It's also a coming of age story too.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's good. It's also a book. It's a good read.
You read?
Every now and again, you know.
Another time, she asked whether I ever thought about how much I hurt her.
You just hurt me with that reading joke. Can't believe you. But go on. As I continue to read alongside you.
You're reading alongside too? I'm just teasing. To which I responded with a long apology, taking accountability, acknowledging the pain I caused, and expressing remorse without asking for reconciliation.
Okay.
A few weeks ago, she randomly asked me if I was okay and then went silent. Following the breakup, she leaned heavily on friends and partying and portrayed me to others as controlling and emotionally abusive, which I acknowledge as truth. Okay, so there's a lot here, right?
And I wonder how he knows. I wonder if those friends are also sharing the information that she's sharing with them, with him. And we all know that everybody has their own perspective of their side of the story. And in a breakup, we have to be okay with our ex having the narrative that they have. You know, it sounds like this is her support system that she's going to. And many of us like to intervene and try to protect our reputation. But it sounds like he's willing to say, you know what, there are ways that I have messed up in this. And he's willing to take that accountability.
About a month after the breakup, she entered a new relationship, and it escalated very fast. They are spending nearly every day together and staying at each other's homes. Oof. That'd be hard to hear. Remember, they're married.
And it sounded like, you know, it was both of their first relationships, at least his.
A month after the breakup, that's very suspicious. Makes me wonder how long she's known this guy for. Around the same time, she got a large sleeve tattoo. This is drastic, as she had only one small dime-sized tattoo from 7 years ago.
I don't know what it is about breakups and tattoos, but we see this, and I see this often, especially with this particular age group. You know, when you meet somebody very young and then, you know, you end up breaking up mid-20s, even early 30s, sometimes even later if it was a longer term relationship. But there's something about that impulsivity of a breakup and, wanting to express yourself artistically with tattoos. We see it all the time.
Well, it's like, I want to be a new person. I feel like a new person. A lot of times women will cut their hair and dye it. And, that's a big thing you see with women, right?
Men get a motorcycle.
Well, I think I had 2 exes that got tattoos after we broke up. The Applebee's,
did they say Craig?
The Applebee's girl did.
CK.
Yeah, exactly.
Really interesting.
The Applebee's girl, she got a tattoo I don't know, probably like a month after.
Oh, wow.
And one of my other exes did too. So it is interesting. It's like all of a sudden it's like I'm a new person and they don't know how to express that, so they do it with a tattoo. All right. She has not posted this new relationship publicly on social media. Her online behavior has been inconsistent, frequently posting early on that framed herself as happy and moved on, then reposting sad songs and content, then reposting angry and hateful content, and now silence. So she's posting her stages of grief for everyone.
And, she involved herself with somebody else very quickly after that breakup. So you're automatically inviting a new host of emotions while you're grieving. So you could just imagine that roller coaster is probably all over the place.
And you got to imagine how this feels for him. He just got married to her. They were only married for 4 months. And now she's ending it. She still watches my stories and engages with my family's posts. Meanwhile, I have been processing the breakup directly, entering therapy, taking accountability, working on attachment, emotional regulation, and doing the creative healing course. The rebound has been particularly painful, triggering feelings of replacement and erasure, especially given how quickly she brought someone new into the home that we shared.
It would be hard.
Oh, that is awful. It is brutal. And it's not likely to last. These rebounds usually fall apart. But when you're going through it, it's just the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah.
At this stage, I'm maintaining silence and not pursuing any contact. I'm seeking guidance as to whether reconciliation is possible and likely given the damage to emotional safety. Thank you again. If you have any further questions or concerns about my situation, please feel free to reach out to me. Okay, so I think they got married young. They were in a relationship for a long time. It wasn't going well towards the end. And now she's thinking, I don't want to spend the rest of my life living like this. I thought it was going to get better when we got married. It didn't. And now I don't want to feel stuck in this because, they were together since teenagers. Now she wants to go off and see what else is out there.
Yeah, and it sounded like she used some pretty strong language when discussing things with friends and family. I think he had mentioned that she had said it was abusive. And so that's something that's important to consider because, like I had said before, sometimes there's habits that are developed in relationships that, you kind of don't really blink much of an eye when you're in it, but once you get some space from it, you look back and say, man, that was really not okay. Or how did we get so comfortable that we got used to that? So it sounds like he's doing the work to really self-reflect. It doesn't sound like he's denying any of, what she said. The only thing he said was there was some truth to the things she was saying to friends and family. But it sounds like he's really willing to do that work and see what's going on internally within him. And he brings up the emotional safety. That is something that's difficult depending on the extent of it, right? Because everybody has limits, and she might look back and say, that was never okay. I will never tolerate that again, and this is too much of a risk for me to re-enter. However, we do know that people can work through so many different types of issues in relationships, and repair is possible. So it will be dependent on the work that he does, the reflection that she does, and what she's willing to tolerate. People also change a lot between 17 and their mid-20s.
Absolutely.
Right? So, part of this whole experience for her is her really figuring out who she is and the direction that she wants her life to go in. So sometimes it takes a little while before really both of you can establish that, which I know they say that our brains aren't really fully developed until we're in our mid-20s, and some sources say even later than that.
I'm hoping to get there one day.
And so, me too, brother. And so,
for you or for me?
both. I hope it happens soon. But jokes aside, it sounds like they're both in that situation of trying to really figure out who they are, what they want, and where they're going.
I agree with all of that. And, I think for him, he has so much anxiety, he wants to repair it right away. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to. She needs to go off and figure out who she is a bit and do the things that you're supposed to do in your early 20s. I see a lot of breakups similar to this. Mm-hmm. The major difference is that they got married, whereas a lot of people don't get married before they have this breakup. Mm-hmm. And so I think that she has to do all of these things to figure out who she is and get it out of her system and figure out, like, okay, this is kind of boring. I thought it was going to be so great and so wonderful, but it's not. Mm-hmm. And she's got to do all of that before she's ready to reconsider going back with him. And when she does, she's going to take a close look and make sure, do I want to really get back with this person? Will things be different? Will things be better? Or should I try and find somebody else and be young and in my 20s for a while?
Right. And if she's talking with her friends about her experience, it sounds to me like the veil has been lifted a bit for her. And she's probably going to go through that whole slew of emotions, just with what you were saying with what she was posting. And so you have to let her go through that. You don't want to try to intervene and get her back in this moment where she's still processing, first of all, what happened. Second of all, we don't even know if, the anger and realization of what's happened is really surfaced like that.
Yeah, don't let your anxiety try and push this to get resolved right away. This is a big part of this is individuation and figuring out who she is and what she wants from life. And you want her to have the space and time to figure that out because you don't want her to come back. You try and repair it, and then she says, no, this isn't what I want. And then you go through another big breakup. Mm-hmm. So take it slow. Keep working on yourself. Keep up the great work that you've been doing and allow her to come back when she's ready. And don't rush into anything because, she might get a little anxious because you guys have been together for so long. You want to make sure that you can repair this in a healthy way.
Right. And props to you for being able to acknowledge your behavior. So awareness is the first step, and it sounds like you're doing the work to really be self-reflective here.
All right. So hopefully this one's been helpful to you. If you want to get my help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. You can also get a Zoom coaching with Victoria.
Yes, I am also here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.